Think old pennies are worthless. Think again. Some rare Lincoln wheat penny and Lincoln penny coins, even in worn, damaged condition, have shocked collectors by selling for thousands, even millions of dollars. From hidden minting errors to ultra-rare dates, these tiny copper coins could be hiding life-changing value in plain sight. Before you spend that old penny, watch this, your pocket change might be worth a fortune. First up, the 1948 wheat penny, part of the famous Lincoln wheat penny collection, is one of the most recognizable and widely collected coins in American history, and even when found in very bad condition without a mint mark, it still carries deep historical, cultural, and educational value. This coin features the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth, created by the skilled artist Victor David Brenner. The reverse side of the coin displays two wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, a design that remained in use until 1958 and symbolized agricultural strength and national prosperity. Because there is no mint mark on the coin, it was struck at the Philadelphia facility of the United States Mint, which at that time did not place mint marks on pennies, unlike the Denver D and San Francisco S mints. The year 1948 falls into the post-World War II era, a time when the United States was rebuilding, expanding its economy, and returning to normal industrial production after the material shortages of the war years. During World War II, copper was needed for military equipment, which led to the temporary production of steel cents in 1943, but by 1948, the mint had resumed the traditional bronze composition of pennies, consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This gave the coin a reddish appearance when freshly minted, but coins that have circulated heavily for decades, especially those considered to be in bad condition, often appear dark brown, dull, or unevenly colored due to oxidation, dirt accumulation, and wear. In such poor condition, much of the original detail is lost. Lincoln's facial features may appear smooth and flattened, the fine lines in his hair may be barely visible, and the wheat stalks on the reverse may be worn down to the point where only their outlines remain. Scratches, dents, corrosion spots, and environmental damage are also common on coins that have spent many years in circulation or improper storage. From a numismatic perspective, the 1948 wheat penny without a mint mark is extremely common because of its high mintage. Hundreds of millions were produced at the Philadelphia Mint alone. As a result, rarity is not a factor that increases its value, especially in poor condition. Coin collectors use a grading system to determine condition, ranging from mint state, uncirculated, down to poor, and a heavily worn 1948 penny would typically fall into the lower categories such as good G, fair FR, or poor P. In these grades, the coin has very little monetary value and is usually worth only slightly more than its face value. In practical terms, a 1948 wheat penny in bad condition without a mint mark is typically valued at around 1 to 5 cents in U.S. currency, although it may sometimes sell for a bit more when included in bulk lots or collections of old coins. It is important to understand that while the same coin in uncirculated condition could be worth significantly more, the worn examples are extremely abundant and therefore not highly sought after in the market. However, despite its low financial worth, the 1948 wheat penny holds strong appeal for collectors, historians, and hobbyists. It represents a tangible piece of mid-20th century American life, having likely passed through countless hands in everyday transactions over the decades. For beginner collectors, it serves as an excellent introduction to the hobby of coin collecting, also known as numismatics, offering opportunities to learn about coin design, mint marks, metal composition, and grading standards. Many collectors aim to complete a full set of wheat pennies from 1909 to 1958, and even a worn 1948 coin can serve as a placeholder in such a collection until a higher grade example is acquired. Additionally, these coins often carry sentimental value, as they may be inherited from family members or discovered in old jars, collections, or circulation, connecting people to the past in a personal way. There are also rare exceptions that could increase the value of a 1948 wheat penny, even one in less than perfect condition. For example, coins with minting errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchette defects, can sometimes be worth significantly more to specialized collectors. However, such errors are uncommon, and the vast majority of 1948 pennies are standard issues with no special features. It is also worth noting that cleaning or polishing a coin is generally discouraged, as it can damage the surface and reduce its value, even if the coin is already in poor condition. In conclusion, the 1948 wheat penny without a mint mark in bad condition is a common and low-value coin in terms of market price, but it remains an important and meaningful artifact of American history. It reflects the post-war era, showcases the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, and represents a time when coins were made primarily of copper and widely circulated in daily life. While it may not be rare or expensive, it holds lasting significance for collectors and enthusiasts, serving as a small but fascinating window into the past and the enduring legacy of the Lincoln Wheat Penny series. Next up, the 1927 wheat penny, part of the historic Lincoln Wheat Penny, is a classic example of early 20th century American coinage, and even when found in bad condition without a mint mark, it carries significant historical importance, though its financial value remains modest. This coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse front, a design created by Victor David Brenner, whose work revolutionized U.S. coin design by placing a real historical figure on a circulating coin for the first time. The reverse side displays two wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, symbolizing agriculture, prosperity, and the strength of the nation's farming economy during that era. Because your coin has no mint mark, it was produced at the Philadelphia branch of the United States Mint, which did not use mint marks on pennies at the time. The year 1927 falls within the Roaring Twenties, a period of economic growth and cultural change in the United States before the onset of the Great Depression in 1929. Coins minted during this time were made primarily of 95% copper with a small percentage of tin and zinc, giving them a bright reddish color when new. However, a 1927 wheat penny in bad condition has usually spent many decades in circulation, resulting in heavy wear, dark brown or almost black coloration, and possible environmental damage. In such condition, the fine details of Lincoln's portrait, such as the hair strands, cheek contours, and coat lines, are often worn smooth, while the wheat stalks on the reverse may appear faint or partially missing. Scratches, dents, corrosion, and edge wear are also common in coins that have been heavily used or improperly stored. From a numismatic perspective, the 1927 wheat penny without a mint mark is considered a common date, as millions were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Because of this high mintage, the coin is not rare, especially in low grades. In coin grading terms, a badly worn coin may fall into categories like good G, fair FR, or 4P, depending on how much detail remains visible. In these grades, the value of the coin is generally very low, typically around 1 to 10 cents in U.S. currency. In some cases, it might sell for slightly more as part of a bulk lot of wheat pennies, but individually it does not command a high price unless it has some unusual feature or error. Despite its low monetary value, the 1927 wheat penny holds strong historical and educational appeal. It serves as a tangible connection to the 1920s, a time of rapid industrial growth, jazz music, and social transformation in the United States. For collectors, especially beginners, coins like this are valuable learning tools that help develop skills in identifying mint marks, understanding coin grading, and appreciating the artistry of coin design. Many collectors aim to complete a full set of wheat pennies from 1909 to 1958, and even a worn 1927 coin can serve as a placeholder in such a collection until a higher quality example is found. There are also rare possibilities that could increase the value of a 1927 wheat penny, even one in poor condition. For example, mint errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchette defects can make a coin more desirable to collectors. However, these errors are uncommon, and most 1927 pennies are standard issues. It is also important to avoid cleaning the coin, as this can damage its surface and reduce any potential collector value. In conclusion, a 1927 wheat penny without a mint mark in bad condition is a common and low-value coin in terms of market price, but it remains an important piece of American history. It reflects the design legacy of Abraham Lincoln on U.S. currency, represents the economic and cultural environment of the 1920s, and continues to be appreciated by collectors for its historical significance rather than its financial worth. Even in worn condition, it tells a story of decades of circulation and remains a meaningful addition to any coin collection. Next up, the 1972 Lincoln penny, part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Penny series, is a familiar and widely circulated coin that, even in bad condition without a mint mark, holds historical, educational, and collectible interest, though its financial value is usually quite low. This coin continues the tradition first started in 1909 with the Lincoln wheat penny, featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse front, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. By 1972, the reverse design had changed from wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial, creating a modern look that remained in use for nearly 5 decades. The absence of a mint mark on your 1972 penny indicates that it was struck at the Philadelphia facility of the United States Mint, which at that time did not place mint marks on pennies, unlike the Denver Mint D. The year 1972 falls into a period of economic and social change in the United States, marked by inflation, industrial growth, and global political shifts during the Cold War era. Pennies minted in 1972 were made of a brass composition consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them a bright reddish gold appearance when new. However, a coin described as being in bad condition has likely been heavily circulated for decades, resulting in significant wear and tear. In such condition, the coin often appears dark brown, dull, or unevenly colored due to oxidation and environmental exposure. The details of Lincoln's portrait, such as the hair strands, facial features, and coat, may be worn down or flattened, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse may have lost its fine architectural details, sometimes appearing as a simple outline rather than a detailed structure. Scratches, dents, corrosion spots, and edge wear are also common in coins that have seen extensive use. From a collector's point of view, the 1972 penny without a mint mark is generally very common because millions were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. As a result, most examples, especially those in poor condition, have very little monetary value. Typically, a worn 1972 Lincoln penny is worth only its face value, 1 cent or slightly more, perhaps 1 to 3 cents in bulk coin lots. However, this particular year is notable among collectors because of a famous variety known as the 1972 double die obverse. In this rare variety, Certain inscriptions on the front of the coin, such as "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," appear visibly doubled due to a minting error. Coins with this error, even in circulated condition, can be worth significantly more, sometimes ranging from tens to hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the clarity of the doubling and overall condition. It is important to carefully examine the coin for such features, as this is one of the few factors that could dramatically increase its value. Even if your coin does not have any rare errors, it still holds value as a piece of history and as an entry point into coin collecting. Coins like the 1972 Lincoln penny are often used by beginners to learn about grading, mint marks, and coin varieties. They also provide insight into how everyday currency evolves over time, both in design and composition. Many collectors enjoy searching through old coins for hidden varieties or simply preserving them as part of a larger collection. Additionally, such coins can carry sentimental value, especially if they are found in old collections, inherited from family members, or discovered in circulation. It is also important to note that cleaning a coin is generally not recommended, even if it appears dirty or worn. Cleaning can scratch the surface, remove natural toning, and significantly reduce any potential collector value, especially if the coin turns out to have a rare feature. Proper storage in a dry environment can help preserve the coin's condition and prevent further deterioration. In conclusion, a 1972 Lincoln penny without a mint mark in bad condition is a common coin with minimal financial value in most cases, but it remains an important and interesting part of U.S. coinage history. Its connection to Abraham Lincoln, its place in the long-running Lincoln cent series, and the possibility, however small, of rare varieties like the double die make it a coin worth examining and keeping. While it may not be worth a fortune, it still represents a piece of everyday history and a meaningful collectible for those interested in coins and the stories they tell. Next up, the 1987 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark is part of the modern Lincoln Memorial Penny series, and although it is very common, especially in bad condition, it still carries historical, educational, and collectible importance as a representation of late 20th century American coinage. This coin continues the long tradition of honoring Abraham Lincoln, whose portrait appears on the obverse front, originally designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909. By 1987, the reverse side of the penny featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The D mint mark on your coin indicates that it was produced at the Denver facility of the United States Mint, which is one of the primary mints responsible for producing circulating coins in large quantities. The year 1987 falls into a period when the composition of U.S. pennies had already undergone a major change. Prior to 1982, pennies were made primarily of copper, but due to rising copper prices, the mint switched to a composition of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, 2.5%. Therefore, a 1987 penny is not a solid copper coin but rather a copper-plated zinc coin, which makes it lighter and more prone to certain types of damage, such as corrosion if the outer copper layer is worn away. In bad condition, this type of coin may show bubbling, peeling, or spotting where the zinc core has reacted with moisture or air. The coin may appear dull, discolored, or heavily scratched, and the design details, such as Lincoln's hair, facial features, and the fine lines of the Lincoln Memorial, may be significantly worn down due to years of circulation. From a collector's standpoint, the 1987 D Lincoln penny is extremely common because millions were minted and released into circulation. In heavily worn or Carrabba condition, the coin typically has little to no collector premium and is usually worth only its face value of 1 cent. In some cases, It might be valued at 1 to 3 cents when sold in bulk with other coins, but individually it does not hold significant monetary value. Coin grading plays a major role in determining value, and a coin in bad condition would likely fall into lower grades such as good G, very good VG, or even fair FR, where most of the fine details have been worn away. Higher grade examples of the same coin, especially those in uncirculated condition, may be worth more, but even then, the value is generally modest due to the high mintage. Despite its low financial value, the 1987 D penny still has educational and historical significance. It represents the era of modern coin production, when cost-saving measures led to changes in metal composition, and it reflects the continued importance of Abraham Lincoln as a national symbol featured on U.S. currency. For beginner collectors, coins like this provide a practical way to learn about mint marks, coin grading, and the differences between copper and zinc-based pennies. Many collectors also enjoy assembling date and mint sets of Lincoln pennies, and even a worn 1987 D coin can serve as a placeholder in such a collection. There are also rare cases where a 1987 D penny could be worth more, particularly if it has a minting error. Errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchette defects can increase a coin's value, even if it is not in perfect condition. However, such errors are uncommon, and most 1987 D pennies are standard issues. It is important to examine the coin carefully under good lighting to check for any unusual features. Additionally, cleaning the coin is not recommended, as it can damage the surface and reduce any potential collector value, even if the coin already appears worn. In conclusion, a 1987 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark in bad condition is a very common coin with minimal monetary value, but it remains a meaningful part of modern U.S. coinage history. It reflects changes in metal composition, the continued use of the Lincoln Memorial design, and the large-scale production of coins for everyday use. While it may not be rare or valuable, it still serves as a useful educational tool and a small but interesting collectible for those interested in coins and their history. Please like and subscribe to my channel. The 1970 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark is a well-known coin from the Lincoln Memorial Penny series, and even when it is found in bad condition, it still holds historical relevance and collector interest, although its monetary value is usually quite low. This coin continues the long tradition of featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse front, a design originally introduced in 1909 and created by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial, a symbolic structure in Washington, D.C., representing Lincoln's legacy and the unity of the United States. The D mint mark on your coin indicates that it was struck at the Denver branch of the United States Mint, which produced a large number of pennies for circulation during that time. The year 1970 falls into a period when U.S. pennies were still made primarily of copper, specifically 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc. This gives the coin a heavier feel and a rich reddish color when new, unlike later zinc-based pennies introduced after 1982. However, a 1970 D penny described as being in bad condition has likely been in circulation for many decades, resulting in heavy wear, discoloration, and surface damage. In such condition, the coin often appears dark brown or dull due to oxidation, and important design details may be significantly worn down. Lincoln's facial features may look flat and smooth, with little visible detail in the hair or coat, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse may lose its fine lines, columns, and steps, sometimes appearing as a simple outline. Scratches, dents, rim wear, and even minor corrosion are common in coins that have experienced long-term use. From a numismatic standpoint, The 1970 Lincoln penny is generally considered a common coin because millions were minted at the Denver Mint. In poor or heavily worn condition, its value is typically very low, usually around its face value of 1 cent, or slightly higher, 1 to 3 cents, when sold in bulk coin lots. However, this particular year is somewhat notable among collectors because of certain varieties, especially the 1970s small date and large date varieties from the San Francisco Mint, though those are different from the Denver minted coin. For the 1970 penny, there are minor varieties such as D over D, a repunched mint mark where the D appears slightly doubled due to the minting process. While such varieties can add interest and some value, they are usually subtle and require magnification to identify clearly. Even then, the value increase is modest unless the coin is in much better condition. Even if your coin does not have any rare variety or error, it still holds value as a historical artifact and is a learning tool for collectors. Coins like the 1970 penny are often used by beginners to understand grading, mint marks, and the differences between older copper coins and newer zinc coins. Many collectors enjoy building complete sets of Lincoln Memorial pennies by year and mint mark, and even a worn coin can serve as a placeholder until a higher grade example is found. Additionally, such coins can carry sentimental value, especially if they are discovered in old collections, inherited, or found in circulation. It is also important to remember that cleaning a coin is not recommended. Even if the coin appears dirty or worn, cleaning can scratch the surface, remove natural toning, and reduce any potential collector value. Proper storage in a dry and safe environment is the best way to preserve the coin's current state and prevent further deterioration. In conclusion, the 1970 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark in bad condition is a common coin with minimal financial value, but it remains an important part of U.S. coinage history. It represents an era when pennies were still made mostly of copper, carries the enduring image of Abraham Lincoln, and reflects the large-scale production of coins for everyday use. While it may not be rare or highly valuable, it still offers historical insight, educational opportunities, and a meaningful connection to the past for collectors and enthusiasts alike. Please like and subscribe to my channel.